run some errands. Please tidy up this place. Wow, how did you guys do it?
We got cleaners.
Cleaners?
You know it, Dad.
Cleaner, it works.
Coming up next on Plus TV, Plus News. Join our news team for half hour of local and national news. Plus News, informative, balanced, accurate, and current.
February is all about Honda. Get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 25% off select Honda products and 20% off Honda parts. Don't forget your B-Bucks whenever you make a purchase. Love your Honda is all about deals and discounts on Honda products throughout the month of February. Only at Benquip Equipment Parts Service.
In the headlines for tonight's newscast, former ombudsman calls out Belmopan's area rep and mayor over comments made regarding Zamar Alvarez, and are terminal workers being forced to resign? These stories and more coming up next on Plus News. Stay tuned.
This newscast is brought to you through the courtesy of Builders Hardware, your home improvement warehouse.
So this is how much I work to you then?
So what, you may want 3 then?
Sure, you ought to order.
Sure. And I may think flowers may romantic. Did you just get your girl 1 flower? Now you're in trouble? A poor man out there, man. That's sin.
Your girl doesn't just want 1 flower, she wants a garden.
But builders are too far.
That's why we brought the store to you.
At shopbuildersbz.com, we make it easier to find all your building needs. Shop anytime, enjoy delivery right at your door, and save with every purchase. For February only, first-time users get to enjoy a special reward when signing up.
Ken,
Oh, yeah.
like you do all of this?
Yes, with Builders Hardware.
Welcome to Plus News for Wednesday, February 25th. I am LJ Wade. Mayor Pablo Kawich and area representative the Honorable Oscar Mira continue to face public scrutiny following remarks made in the aftermath after double murder of Zamar Alvarez and Calvert Webster. Following the incident, it was stated that neither victim was a resident of Belmopan, a claim that has since been proven incorrect. It was later confirmed that Webster was a resident of Mahogany Heights, while Alvarez, who was Garifuna, lived in Belmopan. When asked about his remarks, Mayor Kawich said he was merely relaying the information given to him at the time.
I don't believe I owe any response to a media house. I did make the comments as I explained to some people and the mother of the individual. I rely on information provided to me. I am not out there doing investigations by myself. So I repeat, or I have to rely on information that is provided to me by the respective authorities. So just for information, or for information to the public, I have visited the mother. I did relay my condolences, as well as we discussed issues on how the city can assist her through this difficult time. But the attacks, as you mentioned, it's just, I classify it as political attacks. It is, as you are aware, we are entering the last year of our term, so elections are around the corner, and it's just political noise that the opposition will stir up, because in my personal view, I don't believe that the city has done any wrong, or let me rephrase that. I believe this city administration has been the most effective when it comes to progress for the municipality itself, and that is the direction we will continue pushing towards. We rely on what individuals, individual Belmopan people say, and obviously you still have that opposition existing in Belmopan as well, so they're the ones who tend to be making noise.
But we couldn't see that Mr. Zamar was in fact Belmopanese.
Well, as I was informed by her mother, yes, he was born in Belmopan. He lived both in Belmopan and Belize. So, as I mentioned, I was repeating information that was shared with me. It's not something that as was stated that I was disowning anyone. I have no benefit in disowning anyone.
The fallout has placed both officials in the hot seat, with former Ombudsman Major Gilbert Suazo calling on them to own up to what he describes as troubling statements. Suazo took the matter a step further by formally appealing to the National Garifuna Council, urging the body to seek clarity and accountability. In his letter, Suazo argued that public officials carry, and we quote, a heightened duty of care in moments of public tragedy, end quote, and that their words must reflect impartiality, restraint, and respect for the dignity of every citizen. Suazo warned that statements which can be interpreted as dismissive or discriminatory risk undermining constitutional protections of equality and non-discrimination. Suazo is urging the National Garifuna Council to call on the relevant authorities to clarify, withdraw, and if necessary, publicly apologize for any remarks that may have been perceived as prejudicial. As the matter continues to unfold, the spotlight remains firmly on city officials, with many now waiting to see whether an apology or at least a correction will follow. The Public Service Union of Belize has condemned what it describes as unlawful and heavy-handed actions by the government of Belize through the Ministry of Transport against public officers assigned to bus terminal management units across the country. In a press release, the union said it received reports that the chief transport officer and other officials have been visiting bus terminals and issuing ultimatums to public officers to resign by Friday, February 27th, or face termination. The officers were reportedly informed that terminal management is being transferred to a private entity and that they may reapply for their positions through interviews with the incoming company. The PSU stated that the affected workers are duly employed public officers with legal tenure, accrued service, and supernation rights protected under the law. The union said it has received no formal notice or correspondence regarding any proposed privatization or changes to employment conditions, which it says violates labor laws and the collective bargaining process. Today we heard from the CEO within the Ministry of Transport, Chester Williams. While members of the Ministry of Transport are in fact visiting the various terminals across the country, informing the public officers of the coming changes, Williams says that they are not being given an ultimatum to resign, as is being reported by the PSU.
In preparation for the transition that is going to take place, the law dictates that the department within which the redundancy or non-existence of a particular post may exist would need to inform those employees who are going to be affected by this change, at least within a month's time, of what transition the company, or in this case, the department or ministry, will be going through. In keeping with the spirit of the law, the Chief Transport Officer and the legal counsel for the ministry, Mr. Sambula, are going around the country and are notifying the employees of the terminal, as they are the ones who are going to be affected by this, of the transition that will occur. From my communication with them, and also based on my instruction to them, there is no truth to them telling the terminal workers that they must resign by Friday of this week. What was instructed to them, and from what I have gathered from them, is that they met with the terminal workers, explained to them what is taking place, and gave them the options that are available to them. Now remember that the National Bus Company is going to need employees, and will need employees at the terminal as well. And so what we want to do is to make sure that we have a transition period between the 1st of March and the end of August, whereby those persons who are currently employed at the terminal, and even those who are employed at the various bus companies that now form part of the National Bus Company, they will be brought on board with the National Bus Company, and they will have that 4 months period where they can decide if they want to remain with the company, or if for some reason they don't meet the criteria for employment, then we will have to find ways for the terminal workers, how are we going to settle with them. Those who are employed with the bus companies that are coming on, their employer is going to settle with them before we bring them over to the National Bus Company. So they will start a new contract of employment with the National Bus Company.
In preparation for the National Bus Company, which is set to launch on the 1st of March, CEO Williams stated that transport enforcement officers are now conducting early morning bus inspections to prepare conductors for the new requirements.
Enforcement is critical. We hear our people complaining every day about the lack of enforcement and the type of activities that these buses have been involved in. And so we had a operation before day, leading into the morning, targeting only buses. And again, it was done in such a way that it does not impede traffic for those persons who commute to Belize City every day. I think for that period, they issued, I think, 64 tickets to bus operators for failure to comply with conditions of road service permits and other infractions that were discovered on those buses. Again, we want to make sure that the buses do not put the commuters' lives at risk. We saw recently where there have been fights, there have been crashes, there have been road rage, all sorts of things. And so we have to make sure we stay on top of these things to give the commuters the best experience as they traverse the country on these public transportation.
The Belize Police Department has launched an attempted murder investigation after 88-year-old Gabriela Teka, a Belizean farmer of, Gabriel Teka, a Belizean farmer of Yo Creek Village, was stabbed to the neck. The stabbing occurred on Tuesday, February 24th. According to reports, Teka was working on a farm in the Orange Walk district along with another male person only known to him as Negro Lopez. While Teka and Lopez were working, Lopez accused Teka of eating his food. During the altercation, Lopez reportedly picked up a farm fork and stabbed Teka. He managed to remove the fork from his chest and walked toward the main road where he was assisted and transported to the hospital where he was admitted in a stable condition. Police are investigating this latest attempted murder. We'll take our first break and be back with more news. Stay tuned.
So this is how much I work to you then?
So what, you may want 3 then?
Sure. You ought to order.
Sure. And I may think flowers may romantic. Did you just get your girl 1 flower? Now you're in trouble? A poor man out there, man. That's sin.
Your girl doesn't just want 1 flower, she wants a garden.
But builders, they're too far.
That's why we brought the store to you.
At shopbuildersbz.com, we make it easier to find all your building needs. Shop anytime, enjoy delivery right at your door, and save with every purchase. For February only, first-time users get to enjoy a special reward when signing up.
Ken!
Oh, yeah.
Like you do all of this?
Yes, with builders hardware.
Festival come to this very nation.
In Isaiah 30:29 it says, and you will sing as on the night you celebrate a holy festival, and your heart will rejoice. The body of Christ will unite, and many hearts will rejoice on the Saturday, March 7, 2026 at the Belize Civic Center, beginning at 6 p.m. as a Heavenly's Productions brings to you Jesus Festival.
Jesus Festival. Yeah, Jesus.
Featuring the hottest gospel artist coming out of the Bahamas, Sherwin Gardner.
So I say, with all of my heart and all of my soul, I worship you, O Jah. Tell them that the praise will never stop. All I want to do is give you the highest praise.
Also showcasing one of the biggest gospel artists from out of Trinidad and Tobago, Positive, dropping his hit tunes.
Rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I wanna sing out some sweet gospel reggae. Blessing after blessing and nothing can hold it back.
And then it's the return of the biggest gospel band in Belize, Heavenly.
I'm gonna be heavenly's for life, serving Jesus Christ.
From Atlanta, Georgia, USA, the daughter of the world-famous televangelist Creflo Dollar, none other than Jordan Dollar, with her hit song. Also highlighting Genesis 501 from Capital City, Pemberton. Blind Sight, Genesis Gospel Band from Sugar City, Orange Walk. Reality Youth, Pastor Herman Blees and the Kings Park Prince team. Pastor Frederick Gordon and Garin Carballo and his GCO group. Remember Jesus Festival.
Jesus Festival. Yeah, Jesus. Rocking on the world. I said,
taking place Saturday, March 7, Belize Civic Center from 6 p.m. until. Bring out the entire family for a time of praising God and witnessing souls being saved and lives being recommitted to God. For tickets, call 615-4766. That's 615-4766. Sponsors: Angela's Press, Racina's Imports, Cellular World, Love FM, More FM, Quem Radio, Vibes Radio, PlusTV, Channel 7, Channel 5, and Wave Radio. Come on out and be blessed.
Jesus Festival. Yeah, Jesus. hot.
Well, there was a pier here and it was about to collapse. And we managed to rehabilitate it and to come up to where it is now, where it looks very solid, presentable, and safety for the tourists that come here. And sometimes we have a tendency to forget that Monkey River is also a big tourist destination. Just today, for example, we have seen about 200 tourists coming here. And from the report that I received from the village council is that that will be the average amount of tourists visiting the island. But sometimes when the cruise ship will visit Harvest Key, there is an increase of tourists, which means we need to do more investment into Monkey River, simply because there is no signage where we can take a picture here, there is no information center, and at the same time we have a hallmark when you look at the beautiful Monkey River, where we have some of the unique holla monkeys in Belize.
Our Belize City is growing because of continued investment. From rehabilitated streets to expanding neighborhoods, significant investments are improving how our city functions and how our communities live. In the last 2 years alone, more than 250 streets have been rehabilitated, representing almost $34 million invested directly in physical infrastructure that improves access and quality of life. At the same time, the city continues to expand. Developments such as the Holy Emmanuel area, also known as Gungulung, reflect increased demand for land and housing as Belize City expands in a more sustainable and resilient way. These planned developments support safer communities and long-term sustainability, contributing to rising property values across the city. Under the Town's Property Evaluation Act, property values are required to be reviewed every 5 years. The last valuation adjustment was done in 2013. This adjustment simply brings property values closer to today's market reality, while the tax rate itself remains unchanged. Let's break it down. For a vacant property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 2% rate, which works out to a payment of $500. Under the new assessment, the property value has appreciated by 40%, making the property now worth $35,000. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 2% of $35,000, which works out to $700. For an occupied property valued at $25,000, we charged an annual 10% rate, which works out to $2,500. Under the new assessment, the property's value has appreciated by 18%, making the property now worth $29,500. Therefore, the new amount to be paid will be 10% of $29,500, which works out to $2,950. To support property owners, your Belize City Council is encouraging residents to take advantage of the ongoing property tax prepayment incentives. Property owners receive 15% off in January, 10% off in February, and 5% in March. And senior citizens receive a 35% discount year-round. Remember, this adjustment represents an appreciation in your property's worth, not a change in tax rates, ensuring continued investment in your city while providing valuable data for informing investors, municipal bondholders, and individual credit assessments. And we want residents to know the law provides a clear mechanism for review and appeal if needed. Those who believe their valuation does not fairly reflect their property have the right to engage the Belize City Valuation Appeals Board. Your Belize City Council remains committed to openness, accountability, and ensuring that growth is managed fairly for everyone. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Come to banquet, find your way. Engines roar at the break of day. Volvo outboard surf the waves. Castrol oil is what they crave. Live with power, feel the sound. Heavy machines shake the ground. Riding Honda, feeling proud. Rev it up and shout aloud. Feel the wind against your skin. Smell so wide, let's begin. At banquet where dreams ignite. Gear up, let's take flight. Kohler's power runs our towns. JCB lifts heavy pounds. Find the tools to build your dreams. Banquet's got the best machines. Grip the wheel and never slip. Feel the rush, it's time to trip. Every brand you know and love. Banquet fits you like a glove. Feel the wind against your skin. Smell so wide, let's begin. At Banquet where dreams ignite. Gear up, let's take flight.
Banquet, equipment, parts, service. We represent quality.
Stakeholders of the Belize Agricultural Competitiveness and Sustainable Fund, BACSOF, the project traveled to northern Belize on Tuesday, February 25th, to assess the progress and implementation of project activities supporting the sugarcane industry. The visit was led by Dr. Honorable Osman Martinez, the Minister of State in the Ministry of Economic Transformation, and included representatives from key agencies and industry partners involved in the sugar sector. The delegation engaged with stakeholders in Corozal and Orange Walk to observe on-the-ground implementation, review project outcomes, and identify areas requiring further support. We heard from Daryl Audinet from the project and Dr. Honorable Osman Martinez.
The project, for the most part, is in its initiation phase. What happened is that, as you are aware, the Fusarium fungal outbreak has really affected the industry. And so we had initially intended to start with the establishment of nurseries, sugarcane nurseries. That was envisioned for last year, 2025. That was delayed. And so where we are right now is that we're starting that process of establishing those nurseries. For us to establish those nurseries, though, we have to secure clean seeds. And so what we're doing is that we're working with partners, including the University of Belize, to secure clean seeds through tissue culture, as well as with the BSI ESR in terms of providing clean seeds through hot bath treatment. And so first and foremost, that's the first step. We're trying to secure those clean seeds, trying to identify lands and areas where we could replant, establish primary nurseries and secondary nurseries, and then move to replanting next year. We're trying to see how we could fast track that process, and so we're working along with our partners to see the best approach for us to fast track that, keeping in mind that the project runs to 2029, and so we need to replant 10,000 acres, and so that is a process in and of itself, and so it's a monumental task. But once we have all our partners supporting the process, we should be able to.
I am impressed with the implementation of this project, and I will tell you why. Simply because we have some projects, and I will call them, like the Integral Security Program under CABE, which was developed and designed in 2010, and by 2020, the implementation was at zero. That's 10 years later. Now, when you look, for example, at this project, the approval of this project, it was approved at the GCF Board of Directors on March 6, 2024. And since then, it has to go through their own legal and different processes to the point of getting the money into the country, which was this 1 year ago. And then within a year, you're starting to see the results, right? So this is a project that is being implemented pretty fast. GCF is happy where we are. We cannot drop the ball. We cannot put our guards down. We need to continue to emphasize to the accredited entity, in this case GCF 5Cs, to continue its implementation rate as is. But the main objective, or one of their main objectives, is to look at replanting, which is very important for the industry, but also irrigation system and drainage, which is another two components that are critical for the industry. And critical is simply meaning that at the end the yield per acre will increase, the operational cost will decrease, and therefore the gap between the revenues and expenditures will increase, meaning that there will be more money in the pockets of the farmers. And that's what we want to look at being able to move into an agro-productive sector that will be financially sustainable.
CEO Chester Williams spoke about the Ministry of Transport's plans to bolster their fleet of traffic enforcement officers. The minister's goal is to bring on an additional 200 enforcement officers, half of which are expected to join the ranks in the upcoming fiscal year.
We are in discussion with the Ministry of Finance as we're currently preparing our budget for the next fiscal year. And from what we're seeing, we might be able to get half this fiscal year and the next half the other fiscal year. But if it is that we would be able to complete the half by a certain time this year, then the Ministry of Finance is going to find more funds for us to be able to bring more on board. We're trying to do it as quickly as we can, but at the same time, we want to make sure that those persons that we're bringing on, that they are trained. It's not just about hiring people and giving them a uniform and a ticket book and tell them go out and work. We want to make sure that as we bring them in, we can put them into different cohorts and train them. So I foresee that we should be able to comfortably do 2 cohorts this year. And if it is that we finish those 2 cohorts within a timely manner and we have time to do another within the same fiscal year, then we'll ask Ministry of Finance to allocate the funds for us to do the 3rd one.
Police conducted a special operation on Wednesday, February 25th, in the Maxborough area of Sandhill Village, which resulted in the discovery of a large quantity of cocaine. During the operation, officers found 4 parcels of cocaine weighing a total of 9.66 pounds. That's 4,385 grams. An additional 109 grams of cocaine were also recovered from the same area. We'll take our final break and be back with more news. Stay tuned.
So this is how much I work to you then?
So what, you may want 3 then?
Sure. You ought to order.
Sure. And I may think flowers may romantic. Did you just get your girl 1 flower? Now you're in trouble? A poor man out there, man, that's sin.
Your girl doesn't just want 1 flower, she wants a garden.
But builders are too far.
That's why we brought the store to you.
At shopbuildersbz.com, we make it easier to find all your building needs. Shop anytime, enjoy delivery right at your door, and save with every purchase. For February only, first-time users get to enjoy a special reward when signing up.
Ken! Ota! Like you do all of this?
Yes, with Builders Hardware.
Festival come to this very nation.
In Isaiah 30:29 it says, "And you will sing as on the night you celebrate a holy festival, and your heart will rejoice." The body of Christ will unite, and many hearts will rejoice on the Saturday, March 7, 2026 at the Belize Civic Center, beginning at 6 p.m. as a Heavenly's Productions brings to you Jesus Festival.
Jesus Festival. Yeah, Jesus.
Featuring the hottest gospel artist coming out of the Bahamas, Sherwin Gardner.
So I say, with all of my heart and all of my soul, I worship you, O Jah. Tell them that the praise is never
showcasing one of the biggest gospel artists from out of Trinidad and Tobago, Positive, dropping his hit tunes.
Rolling in my two-man army, my Jesus and I wanna sing out some sweet gospel reggae. Blessing after blessing and nothing can hold it back.
And then it's the return of the biggest gospel band in Belize, Heavenly.
I'm gonna be heavenly's for life, serving Jesus Christ.
And all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, USA, the daughter of the world-famous televangelist Creflo Dollar, none other than Jordan Dollar, with her hit song. Also highlighting Genesis 501 from Capital City, Pepperton. Blind Sight, Genesis Gospel Band from Sugar City, Orange Walk. Reality Youth, Pastor Herman Blees and the Kings Park Prince team, Pastor Frederick Gordon and Garin Carvalho and his GCO group. Remember Jesus Festival.
Jesus Festival, yeah, Jesus, rocking on the world, I said Jesus.
Taking place Saturday, March 7, Belize Civic Center from 6 p.m. until. Bring out the entire family for a time of praising God and witnessing souls being saved and lives being recommitted to God. For tickets, call 615-4766. That's 615-4766. Sponsors: Angela's Press, Racina's Imports, Cellular World, Love FM, More FM, Quem Radio, Vibes Radio, PlusTV, Channel 7, Channel 5, and Wave Radio. Come on out and be blessed.
Jesus Festival, yeah, Jesus.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, text, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
El rotavirus es una de las principales causas de diarrea acuosa severa y vómitos en niños. Puede causar deshidratación severa y hospitalizaciones. La buena noticia es que la vacuna contra el rotavirus ya está disponible. Se administra por gotas orales a los 2, 4 y 6 meses de edad. Protege tu bebé. Visite hoy su centro de salud más cercano.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures, customer energy portals, real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter, smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights, distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Welcome back. The government of Belize, through the Ministry of Economic Transformation, is moving to strengthen how climate funding is managed and coordinated nationwide. On Monday, February 23rd, the ministry convened a climate finance coordination meeting in Belize City, bringing together representatives from major international partners and local institutions, including the World Bank, Green Climate Fund, Inter-American Development Bank, Development Finance Corporation, PACT, CABE, and the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, and of course other key ministries. As the country's national designated authority to the Green Climate and the Adaptation Fund, METH is seeking to ensure that projects align with national development priorities, avoid duplication, and fill key funding gaps. Discussions centered on strengthening information sharing, improving the sequencing of partner support, and enhancing institutional collaboration to increase efficiency and overall development impact. The ministry also outlined its current climate finance portfolio and project pipeline in order to identify areas where additional support is needed. This week's meeting is one of several planned quarterly sessions aimed at building a more organized climate finance system. The Ministry of Immigration, Governments and Labor has issued clarification following the Caribbean Court of Justice's recent decision involving BTL. The ruling in question requires BTL to address outstanding severance payments for affected employees. In a statement released yesterday, the Ministry of Immigration, through its Labor Department, stressed that the decision applies only to the specific case and does not automatically extend to other claims. It also reaffirmed that severance pay remains a legal entitlement under the Belize Labor Act and that each employment case must be assessed individually, considering factors such as the type of termination, existing agreements, and compliance with statutory requirements. Employers and workers are encouraged to handle disputes through dialogue, consultation, and negotiated settlement with the Labor Department available to facilitate where needed. The ministry also advised the public to seek guidance to understand how the ruling may affect their own circumstances. And that's the news. Thank you for joining us. From all of us here at PlusTV, have a good night and God bless.